and I'm going to take it over to Carolyn Poole, who's going to have our first interview. I hope you enjoy the day today and tell us what you think. Thanks.
Thanks, Buffy. Hi, everybody. I'm Carolyn Poole, and I am very pleased to welcome to our virtual event our very first guest, Khadijah Cooper.
Hi.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Great.
First, I just want to say thank you for calling me a young lady. That was very nice. I was like, who is she talking about? Who else is coming on the call? Because I did not think it was going to be me.
Well, you're younger than me, so that counts.
Okay.
Fair.
Okay.
So I wanted to start out just checking in. As Buffy was saying, artists and performers are the first people that were really sort of impacted as far as economics-wise, and as far as what we do by this quarantine situation. Tell me how the comedy scene is reacting right now.
Yeah, I think at first people were really in shock. Like at first we didn't know if things were going to get canceled because, you know, comedians were like, we'll go into a dusty basement with asbestos and mold. Like we don't care. Social distancing, you know, so for I think until the 14th of this month, like there was still like shows kind of going on a little bit. But then after that weekend, it just completely like stopped. So I think it was like a shock at first. And then someone who I consider like my brother in comedy, Ali Sultan, really stepped up and started doing like open mics on Instagram because you can like have somebody join you on your Instagram live. So we were doing that, and now we're doing Zoom shows. The unfortunate part is that they max out at 100 people. But the positive part is like they are maxing out. So we're, you know, I'm so lucky to be able to stay like active and telling jokes. It's very different for me. I'm very theatrical on stage. I like to move around. I like to have a good time. So that's like an adjustment, but at least I'm still able to be pushed to write. And instead of just kind of like living in this like uncertainty. So that feels really good. And the people who are coming to see or listen or watch these virtual shows are very supportive. And yeah, I mean, you know, Ali, he's a full-time comedian, you know, and going from making a living to absolutely nothing. So, you know, I think he's asking for, you know, if anybody can Venmo him, and then he is so great to split it amongst the comedians. But I'm fortunate enough to be able to still work. So I'm like, I'm still making an income. Please just like donate whatever, you know, split it between, like I can be taken out of that equation. So, and Ali Sultan is like a really staple in the Twin Cities scene. So he just got written up in the Star Tribune about these virtual mics. He was interviewed on NPR. So he's really keeping the scene alive, and it's getting people connected. I'm doing shows online with people from New York. I would never be able to meet these people, or Canada, or just anywhere in the US. So that's kind of cool too, to be connected with different comedians as well.
That's really cool. And these virtual open mics, my understanding is they are on Saturdays right now, Saturday nights?
They're on Saturdays. It kind of seems like they're starting to pop up more frequently, and other people who are running live shows are kind of like getting on. So you can almost log on and see one almost any night of the week. The nice thing is that they're free. I think it's really making comedy more accessible to people who maybe never been to a comedy show or didn't know how like prevalent comedy is in the Twin Cities. So it's really like it's really giving us some exposure that I don't think we could have had without COVID. You know, trying to look at the bright side, I guess.
Yeah. And is it awkward doing comedy kind of on your own, right? As a performer, especially with comedy, we sort of rely on that instant feedback from the audience. How has that adjusted how you approach your work?
You have to kind of get into the mindset that You're not going to hear laughs. You're not going, like, you have to kind of prepare for that. I think people who are watching the show have been great about like sending laugh emojis, and that kind of gives you that same feeling. On Zoom calls, if people aren't muted, you can actually hear them laugh. But like, I'm great at crowd work. So it's like, I don't feel, it's like, I'm going to do crowd work. Like, let me scroll. Hold on 1 second. So it's kind of different in that way. But, I think we're just like all making the best of it. And I think for me, trying to really like be mindful in this moment and being like, oh, Khadijah, like you can really focus on the words and not the theatrics of your joke telling. And that I think is making me a better comedian.
That's great.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Actually, it's sort of like there's that extra pressure, right? And that working under pressure sometimes brings stuff to the surface that you really didn't know you were capable of. That's awesome. I do have to wrap up in a couple of minutes, but can you tell us how to find you and some of these virtual shows?
Yeah, so you can find me at K Cooper Comedy on Instagram, Facebook. I've been tweeting a lot in this time. I don't usually tweet a lot, but I've been tweeting a lot at this time. And I have a podcast out. It's Where Sex Meets Comedy is our Instagram handle. And it's basically, I'm a sexuality educator during the day. And we kind of merge my two worlds together, talking about women empowerment, sexuality, relationships. My co-host, and we're really funny. And it's kind of like what Buffy was saying in the beginning about the podcast y'all are starting. We're just specifically talking about this one sector of like sex, relationships, and like sexuality and all of that. So that's a project that I'm really excited about. It's brand new. So you can find that all on Instagram and listen to it on Spotify and everything else.
And it's really fun. It's a Q&A with K&A. And I don't want to like make anybody's soups gels, but I am a guest on an upcoming episode. And it's really a ton of fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. It just gives women like an opportunity to talk openly and freely about sexuality and comedy and the intersections of that. And, me and Abby, with our expertise in this area, we just provide hopefully some adult sex ed where people maybe didn't have it. And I've been hearing that a lot from folks that like, this is the sex ed that I wanted and never got. And it's like, great. Okay, cool. Like, that's what we want. We want talking about sex to be as easy as talking about the weather.
Absolutely. I agree. I can't tell you how great it is to see your beautiful face and to hear you and just all the stuff that you've got going on out there. I really want to thank you.
I adore you, Carolyn.
I love you. And I
love you. All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it.
You bet. All right. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Friends, that was Khadijah Cooper. You can find her online at K Cooper Comedy. Really, I would encourage you to check out her shows. Ali's shows, he's really, really great as well. So go get some comedy into your life. All right. Thanks so much. Back to you, Buffy. I'm going to drink my coffee. Don't know if anybody's still watching me. Maybe. Got a cup with art on it. I don't know. Am I?